Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the PSGL F1 2019 Race of Champions. My name is Felix. I'm your commentator for today, once again joined by Jack. Hello and welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me. Race of Champions, a very big event in PSGL, and I'm expecting a lot of viewers and some fantastic racing over this. More challenging race than what the drivers are used to. Of course, it is a 100% race, so need to keep it a little bit more consistent, be a little less aggressive. So today I imagine we're going to see some very interesting racing.
Yes, agreed, and I'm really looking forward to this. This is my first ever time commentating on a 100% race, and this is going to be very, very exciting. We've got such a quality grid, incredible. I feel very honored to be invited to commentate today with you once again, as we both know each other very well from commentating. And I've just got some updates from Big C, who told me that Jay replaces Joe. Jay won the Classic Championship, and also Parga is not able to race. And yeah, Laggy is Louis New wildcard. Alright, let's just quickly try to run down the grid, as we've got so much quality in here. We've got Boomer in the Ferrari today, I believe. Yes, he is in the Ferrari. First place in season 23 F7, and also P1 in season 25 F6. So only 2 seasons later he's won an even better championship. Then we've got JT, who won PSGL F5 in season 25. Then we've got Joe Cowboy, who is not able to race, like I mentioned. Sadly, we won't have him here, but like I said, Jay is joining in for him, so he won the Classic Championship. So also a very, very good driver. Then we've got Iron Neon, otherwise known as Jared, who won the PSGL season 24 F5 Championship. Then we've got Tipson, who won season 23 F5. Then we've got Jay Carty, season 24 F4 champion. Then we've got TJ. T-John is the AMS wildcard. From F5 to F3 in the game cycle, so a really, really good improvement by him. And yeah, he finished P5 in season 25 of F3, which was the last season, so very, very impressive result. And also then we've got our new Laggy, our wildcarder for Louis, who Louis chose Parga. But Parga, like I said, not able to race, sadly. So he will have to replace him. So we've got Sam Bam Kid, who won season 23 of the F3 Championship. Then we've got Owen, who won this season 25 F3 Championship. We've got Abi Oden, who won the season 24 FP Championship. Then we've got Brandon Glover, who won the season 24 F3 Championship. QPR Beast, who is our Formula Experience Champion. Then we've got Will Murdoch, who won the season 23 F1 Championship, so an incredibly quick driver. Then we've got Bugatti, who won season 25 of F2 and season 25 of FP as well. So very impressive. 2 championships within 1 season. Toxic Tomato, otherwise known as Cameron, won the season 24 F2 Championship. Then we've got Lico, who was the F2 Sprint Cup champion. Then we've got Sparks, who was the Big C wildcard. Big C has chosen Sparks to race due to his P2 in season 23 of the F1 PSGL Championship. Then we've got Louis Welch in P1 in season 23 and season 24 of PSGL F1. And then last but not least, we've got Casper, who was the season 24 Race of Champions winner and a P2 in season 25 of F1. And yeah, even though you probably haven't remembered every single driver and who won everything, is this barely to keep in mind. But the grid is already a bit glitched for me. We've got...
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, I think the lobby's glitched.
Well, it gives us more time to talk about stuff, I guess, as we got cars just everywhere. We love the F1 game. Thank God that F1 2020 is coming out in just a couple of weeks' time. It's an absolute blessing.
This really is just fitting to the game. I mean, it's
Ah,
such a game
yes.
full of glitches. It's been far from perfect. I even think it's been the opposite of an improvement. I think it's gone worse from F1 2018, to be honest. I remember less glitches, but yeah, this is a good way to end the season, as we now have to wait for another lobby to be set up. But at least you are able to see the grid for the race. We can see Casper and Louis are starting in 19th and 20th in the Williams. Then we've got Sparks at P18, Jay P17, Lickle P16. Toxic Tomato will start at P15 behind Bugatti and Will. Then we've got QPR Beast and Brenton Glover rounding up the second half of the grid. And then Abiodun in P10, the first one inside the top 10. Then Owen in 9th, Sambam Kid in P8, that laggy person in P7. And I can't see the rest because the lobby now completely disconnected.
I mean, yeah.
But we'll
No,
have to wait and see.
absolutely.
I mean, the chat has gone wild after that.
My chat's not even working, so I can't see that. Let's get that to work.
I really hope.
Hey, there we go.
I really hope the second lobby will be better.
Nah, sure it will be.
There you can see F1 2020 coming soon, hopefully.
Ending
This
the
one-
game as it started.
I mean, it only can get better for online, not gonna lie. But we'll have to wait and see for another few weeks until the new League Racing Championship starts. Obviously, it's not going to be right at the start, as some people might get it a bit later. But PSGL will definitely be back next game. But F1 2020 looks very promising. But let's talk a bit more about the race, Jack. I think it's your first time as well commentating on a 100% race. Obviously, the strategy plays a factor a lot more than it usually does. And you were talking about the consistency, just generally. Tell us, what are the exact difficulties in a 100% race?
Exact difficulties of a 100% race, there could be so many, as it's not our usual 50% race, which is half the distance, half the time of this race. So strategy is definitely going to be much more of a talking point and much more varied, especially around this track of Germany. It's going to be a fully dry race. We know that the weather's already set in, so I have no idea what strategy people are going to choose, but we know the softs really don't last that long around this track. So, I mean, we're going to see what drivers decide to use the softs for what amount of time, or the mediums, the hards. I have no idea in terms of strategy how long people will be on what, so, you know, it's going to be a complete surprise to me in a 100% race. The consistency, like I was saying before, turn one around this track, people always seem to have an issue with in terms of penalties and crashing, so I think the drivers, instead of launching it through turn one, are going to take it much more calm and, you know, nicely, keep it a lot more simple. And that's why I think the person who's going to win this race is going to be the one who keeps it the most clean, the most consistent, and doesn't get too many penalties during this race, as it's so long and it's much harder to complete.
Yeah, you are definitely absolutely right there, and the concentration levels are definitely a big factor in this race. I mean, 100%, it's easy to get distracted, and it's very much exhausting when you have to be on the limit all the time for a whole race distance. And yeah, I quickly have to talk a bit more due to the fact that I need to accept the invites. We've just had IRL Neon, aka Jared, say, "Hey Felix and Jack, have fun. I probably won't survive the race either with me crashing out or PS4 overheating." I can definitely agree with that PS4 overheating thing because I feel like my PlayStation is about to take off in a minute. But we'll have to wait and see.
I mean, I get that. My PlayStation entered jet engine mode just a few minutes before the race, so that's good. Hopefully we don't see too many cooked PS4s by the end of this, but I feel like we might see a few cooked F1 2019 discs shortly after the races. Everyone's fed up with the game and completely done with it. Everyone hates it at this point. It's been my favourite F1 game, kind of. I mean, F1 2009 is my personal favourite, as it's the first ever one I played on the Wii. Absolute god tier, but F1 2019 has been my personal favourite in terms of my racing and everything, because I've won the most races, I guess, got the most podiums that I ever had since my start of league racing, so 2019's been a nice game to me, a good game to me, but it's not without its issues and stuff.
Yeah, I certainly can't agree on that. I really didn't enjoy the game, even though I won more races than on F1 2018 on this game. I still didn't enjoy it that much. Like I said multiple times, I think people who know me will get annoyed by the time I just mention it more often and often, but I have to mention it once more. It's just so annoying to see drivers not overtaking because they save their ERS and it's more tactical game than an actual racing game. Overtaking is just not rewarding because ERS management is far more important than dirty air effect is, because your dirty air really doesn't affect you that much when you've got enough ERS left to overtake someone. And I hope that's changed, especially with that change of the ERS management for next game, which is really, really good in my opinion. An overtake button. It reminds me of Curse a little bit. Hopefully we will see even better racing on next game than on this game. But today, equal cars, obviously many different driver skill levels, but generally the skill level of this race should be just really, really good.
Yeah, especially it's the fastest drivers from all the skill levels, so I mean you won't see a quicker grid than this, kind of, if you take everyone from each tier. This is about as quick as it could get, so we've got some really, really quick drivers that we know, but they're starting at the back, so through the first stage of the race, you're going to see those drivers trying to work their way up the grid, you know, getting themselves up to the front. So it depends on how much of the lower tier drivers how long can they keep those faster drivers behind them. And you know, anyone could win this race. Is of course bottling is increased, we'd say, as there's more laps and stuff like that, so the bottle margin could be increased if people carry on just flooring it as hard as they can the whole 100% distance. A single lapse of concentration or something can completely ruin you, end your race, and time penalties. There's more laps to do, so more chances to cut a corner. So I think this race is something over 60 laps, so you know.
Yeah, we saw Sebastian Vettel losing concentration as the rain came in late in the race in 2018 in real life. I don't really like thinking about it, but I have to mention it when we come here to Germany. But it is a beautiful track, a great track for racing. A shame it's not on the calendar for the 2020 season just yet. But I think everyone on Earth is hoping that Russia won't host a Formula 1 race this season, so Hockenheim can jump in and take that job from them. I think everyone would happily take it. I don't know anyone who likes the real-life F1 races in Russia, but I know many people who love the F1 races in Germany. I mean, 2018 was great, 2019 was something else, and yeah, today, Germany, what a great track, and what a great way to end the season. But like you said, it's coming down in the end to consistency and the concentration levels. Who can keep their concentration so high up till the end of those 64 laps, I think, of racing, or 67? I'm not quite sure. Around 60 laps of racing. And also, when something happens to you, when you get front wing damage on lap 1, your race is not over at all. You've got a whole race distance to catch back up and gain more and more positions back.
Yeah, that's what I like about 100% race. If something does go wrong in those first 2 laps, you still got that huge amount of distance to be able to make that time back up and get back up to the pack and fight for a race win again. So that's another thing you could talk about. But if your wheel comes off in the start of the race, I mean, as always, that's it over completely. So I think the aim is not to crash and not to die. So yeah, consistency, that's all this is. Consistency. It's not what the drivers are used to. Unless you maybe do 100% career mode or something, because I know that's something I do, because that's fun. But this isn't something you normally see from a league, not normally 100% race, so luckily there's no rain to slow it down even more, because this is probably going to take us an hour and a half or something like that. So I mean, people know me for shouting during my comms and speaking a million miles an hour, which I'm trying to tone down a little bit, so hopefully I don't end up losing my voice by the end of this, but I think we'll be okay.
This kind of reminds me of an endurance race for us commentators. I mean, for the drivers probably as well. It's a lot longer than everyone is used to usually. But like you said, some people do 100% career modes. Me personally, I like to do them as well because I just find it more realistic. And within a stint, you've got more time to actually gain or lose some time. But it looks like the lobby is not glitched, and it is not. I'm very glad to say that. And I'm very glad to be able to say that the formation lap is underway for this race of champions, and we are just a few minutes away from lights out for a final time in PSGL this season. Let's take a look at the tyre selections of each driver. We've got Boomer on the softs while Tyler starts on the mediums, the only one in the top 5 to start on the mediums. The rest is on the soft compound. Then we've got TJ in P6, then Laggy in P7, and Sam Bam Kid all on mediums. Then Owen, one of the few drivers outside the top 5 or the only driver outside the top 5 on the softs. Then we've got Abiodun and Bran on the mediums, and then QPR Beast, the first driver in P12, who starts on hards. Then we've got Bugatti on hards, Lickle on hards, and Louis Welsh on hards as well. The rest of the grid is on mediums, which I didn't mention. So, interesting. You talked about it. We don't really know the strategy in 100% races around Germany, but let's wait and see. And as Tyler has already gone off for the first time, better now than in the actual race.
It's not a good sign, but
hopefully it works in the race.
I mean, I don't think ever going off into the gravel works unless, I don't know, maybe a rally driver or something, but yeah, it's going to be a long race for the drivers. Hopefully they can all keep on the track, keep it all clean, and we can have a good time. Only 5 drivers, I think that is, choosing the soft tyres from the start, so strategy is going to be interesting. I don't think we're going to be able to see any 1 stops this race, probably mostly 2 stops, maybe 3 to 6 stops. We have absolutely no idea.
3
but
to 6.
Crashes. You never know, people could get wing damage. I've seen some talented crashes in my time, I can tell you that.
Alright, as I would like you to take a look at the back of the grid, on the second half of the grid, as we're about to get the lights for this race of champions, as I'm still trying to find a proper angle. That's a good angle, and we're up to 5 lights for the PSGL F1 2019 Race of Champions, and it's lights out and away we go. It seems to be a good start from Boomer, who stays in the lead for now. Tips and jumps IRL Neon coming down into turn 1. There goes Jake Hardy down the inside of IRL Neon as they're going side by side, and Tyler's already lost it out of turn 1 and is into the wall, and out of this race he goes. That's not a great start to this race, and we've already got a safety car.
Absolutely, I'm not sure what happened to Jack Tyler, I couldn't see that, but at the back of the grid, I've seen some wing damage, one of them for probably one of the favourites today, Casper. He's got an end plate missing on the right hand side of his car, so that's giving him damage. Right at the start, we've already lost 1 driver and got a safety car, with Jack Tyler crashing out of this race through turn 1, I assume. I think you got a good view of that, but some drivers have got wing damage, so now it's strategy again. Who's going to pit under the safety car? Who's going to need to change their wings? So that's certainly an interesting first lap already, and we're already been nullified in the race, so we can't carry on shouting. So we've got however many laps this is under the safety car.
67 actually. I was right with my first guess, I think.
Yeah.
Or did I say 64 at first? I'm not sure. But the 2 main winners of this start are Louis Welsh and ILRT Owen. Both have gained 4 spots, and that just 1 corner and a little bit of a straight. That's all, and they've gained 4 spots. Toxic Tomato and Will also have gained 3 spots. Obviously, one of them for all the drivers is because of the crash from Tyler, but still, quite a good start. Owen dives into the pit lane, so does Iron Leon, and so does Jake Hardy. So the 3 drivers inside the pit lane already. As you mentioned, Casper with his front wing damage also in the pit lane. Fits a new front wing, and let's see which tyres those guys have changed onto. All have changed onto the medium compound. Interesting.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best tyre to go on at this point. Most of the drivers being on the mediums, you can kind of follow still a normal strategy from being on that, with some of the drivers starting in the back anyway, so it won't matter too much after safety car restart. It's going to be more of a normal kind of thing for them now. It's still a normal strategy just a little bit harder to get back up to the front. The drivers who were at the front anyway and had to pit, such as maybe Aero Neon, someone like that who started more to the front of the grid, is now right at the back of the grid, so it's going to be much harder for him to fight the faster drivers around him to bring himself back up into the points positions, which doesn't really matter because it's all about winning in this race.
Yeah, and also we said the softs is an interesting call. They don't really last that long, so all of the drivers who were on softs, except from Tips and Boomer, have decided to pit onto the mediums. So let's see if that was the right call, or if Tips and Boomer have made a strategic masterclass by staying out on the soft compound. Hopefully the safety car will be in next lap, because I want to see some actual racing. The start was already quite hectic. I mean, P2 crashed out completely on his own, it looked like. So very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see it at all. I have no idea what he did, but that's what I was talking about before with the turn 1. It's a lethal corner. It really is. It's a hard corner to get through anyway, but straight away in the first lap, Jack Tyler's hopes of doing anything in this race is completely over before he even got out of turn 2, and we got a safety car because of it straight away. So, as Big C said, the first of many safety cars. I hope that's not true. I really do. I've seen the maximum of 4 safety cars in a race before in a 50% race. So if we take that and we double it, we've got 8 safety cars, and if that happens, I will cry.
So will I. I mean, then we'll sit here till F1 2020 actually comes out. And hopefully then we can immediately switch onto that game, which would be actually quite nice. But some people make actually some guesses how many safety cars will come out. CRG Gamer predicts 4 safety cars. I think not too bad. Kryptonite predicts at least 3 more. Like you said, we are not really hoping for that. Maybe at some point when the race gets a little bit dull, when the gaps are starting to extend, then we might want to have a safety car. But if that's not the case, if we always got some good racing, I don't really need a safety car, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, safety cars as little as possible is fantastic, but if there are like 15-second gaps between all the drivers, then a safety car would be nice. Luckily on 100% race, it's still only about 3 laps onto the safety car, so now we've got the safety car in this lap, we could finally get racing again and have a little bit more fun, and hopefully the safety car, I don't know, whoever's driving it, can take a nap or something for a while.
Very impressive, by the way. 33 viewers and 60 comments already, and we're not even on lap 4. Incredible. 61 comments now, so people being very, very active in the chat, which is great to see as we're waiting for Boomer to restart the race. It looks like he is gone now already. He has gone very, very early, and Tipson is pretty close to him. Not the best of restarts. Now he's lagged in front, so it seems like it has been a good restart. I can't really see him on track. We are on board with TJ. Oh, and we see Tipson, the track extending massively. And in terms of strategy, we see in the background, though, Will and Laggy are going side by side, coming down into turn 3, as Will gets the position from Laggy, who has now to defend from Abiodun in the Ferrari right behind him. Let's see if he can get past the Alfa Romeo as well, after Will has already passed him down into turn 2. Let's see, maybe down into the hairpin he can set up a move. He stays behind for now. But, oh, there goes... I think that's Cameron. Yeah, Cameron goes down the inside of Abiodun and that laggy person, and now Abiodun is anyway past that laggy person who's got pushed wide by Cameron. I'm not sure if that was on purpose by him, but it might have just been him outbraking himself as Louis makes up more and more places around the outside of QPR base. What a move from him, and already up into P10.
Absolutely, I didn't really see anybody having any particularly bad safety car restarts other than maybe that laggy person, but Louis, he's already launched himself up into P10 after starting, I think it was P20 or P19, something like that. But Louis, he's on a mad one. He's absolutely flying through this grid, which is why he's one of the best drivers on this game. So it's only a matter of time until we see him up at the top. But let's not forget about the drivers up at the front on the soft. So how long are they going to be able to take those? What's their strategy going to be? The tyre stints are a little bit longer for a 100% race, but already Liquid Block's getting a 3-second time penalty. Already at the start of this race, there's a little bit of a fight going on in the back. That's QPR Beast getting past CRG Sparks.
Lost front wing.
Right
His
now.
end plate is missing.
Who is it that lost the front wing?
That is QPR Beast, as we are on ball with Louis, and Brandon is trying to get past Laggy, and down the inside he goes into the hairpin, both on the medium tyre. Louis says thank you very much, goes past Laggy as well on the hard compound, and he's using Brand's Renault right now to move up even more positions. But I think now Brand's time has come to being overtaken by Louis, who is a man on a mission right now. Lap 5 and he's already gained 10 spots as QPR Beast, I think, has spun or went off the track.
Yes, he just went off the track because of his wing damage. I think went a little bit wide, and that gave Casper, Jay Carty and Owen to get position as Jay Carty goes wide into the gravel, where we saw Jack Tyler on the formation lap go out into there. And this means Jay Carty's dropped down 2 positions, and Owen and Neon Rapid, or just Neon on this, have managed to move up a position because of that, which is lucky for them. But Louis, he's not far behind Bran, and it's only a matter of time until he's overtaken, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I see many track extends, and there we have another 3-second time penalty. I think we could actually see some disqualifications. The only driver I know who's managed to do that in a 50% race was Sondre. I know he's in the chat, so yeah, Sondre, good job. You're the only one I know who did this. But up front we can see Brad is going down the inside of Abiodun. In the meantime, TJ has just gone past Boomer and moved himself up into P2 and is now behind his Norwegian countryman. And it's a Norwegian 1-2 at the moment.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, a lot of drivers still fighting as you got Laggy person almost gone off.
Abiodun!
He's gone off. I'm not sure what happened there, how he crashed, but he's off and he's dropped so many positions, lost so much time because of that. I have absolutely no idea why, but Laggy person, he's been struggling right now. He's currently in a fight with Sparks for P10. But
I think Abiodun slightly outbraked himself, clipped Brand's car because he has got front wing damage as well, and then spun round. Louis gains another spot as Brand goes wide in the last corner, and I think it's not far till it's not long till he gets passed by that strong looking Williams right behind him as Boomer picks up a 3-second time penalty. Abiodun picks up a 5-second time penalty. There goes Louis down the inside already, down into turn 2 as they're going side by side. Not quite though. Remember, Louis is on the hards, on the slower compound for now, and now Brandon has basically got no chance, and I think he knows his time has come to move down in position. But there goes Jay. He tries to pass Brandon at the same time. He even goes down the inside of Louis. That's pretty risky and that's pretty aggressive, but he gets the position from Brand. He's side by side with Louis at the moment as they are coming down towards the Mercedes grandstand. On the outside there's Jay, who tries to hold it on his medium compound. He gets pushed out wide by Louis, and Louis keeps the spot for now, but a good move on Brand from Jay.
Yeah, I've just seen that Sam and Will were going side by side, the Toro Rosso and the Red Bull, having a little bit of a fight. Cameron was just sitting in behind them, having a little watch, waiting for them to maybe make a mistake, take that opportunity. But Louis, despite being on the slowest tyre, he's the quickest driver. That's just clear. You can see how much quicker he is compared to some of these other drivers. He's got 1.5 seconds to make up now to the top 6, but it's not long until that gap's closed down.
Yeah, well,
Louis, he's flying.
Yeah, we've got another spin from Abiodun, so his race is really not going well so far. He needs to pray for another safety car. I don't think that's too much to ask for in this race. But right now, look at Will. He's right in the slipstream of Boomer, and I think that might be the soft compound just dying out already. Let's see if Sam Bam Kid can already get down the inside as well. Yeah, he goes down the inside of Boomer. Side by side with the Ferrari still as they go out of the hairpin, and there comes Cameron, who's already side by side with Boomer as well. Side by side now towards the Mercedes grandstand. Boomer has got the inside line though, but Cameron has got the better tyres at the moment, I think, and Cameron is past the Ferrari, and Boomer is dropping like a stone right now.
The softs, they've hit that cliff and they are dropping off now. We've also lost our second driver of the race, Abiodun, deciding to retire in the pit lane. So despite this being 100% racing, he could have easily made up that time. He's decided to retire as Bran has just got past Casper actually.
Yeah, I just saw that. Back of the grid. That was a great move round the outside, coming down into the stadium section. And fantastic job fighting off Casper there, one of the quickest drivers on this grid, as he has done a great job as well We didn't really see much of him this race so far, but he has moved up quite a lot of positions as well, as Louis has just gained another spot against Boomer. Now down the inside he goes. I think Boomer might be a little bit laggy.
Yeah, I saw that, but I'm not sure if this is Boomer having a lack of pace or the softs have just completely hit a cliff and gone off, but whatever it is, he hasn't
sorry
got
to
much
interrupt
pace.
you, but there goes Cameron down the inside of Sambam Kid, the same tyre compound for both of them. But here he goes, and down the inside he is past the sister Torosso car, and now it's Louis right behind Sambam Kid, and Tipson is right now leading the race in front of TJ, and the Norwegians are right now controlling this Germany race. Good job, as Jay also gets past Boomer, who lags back and forth, which is not good to see, but Sparks gets past as well. I hope Casper's not being annoyed by the laggy car of Boomer either, or too much. Brand has been passed by Casper in the meantime. There's a lot of things going on right now.
Yeah, plenty of stuff going on. Despite this being a 100% race, the drivers are not taking any chances in terms of overtakes. They're just going for it. They're doing a lot of overtakes right now, but be sure it's a Norwegian 1-2. Tipson and TJ.
Yeah.
So I could have sworn Tipson was Irish.
Is he?
I could have
If
sworn
so,
he was.
if so, I'm
oh,
very,
hang on,
very
sorry,
sorry.
Sambam Kid's just got a little bit wide, and Louis Welch into turn 2 has managed to make that overtake, put himself up into P5. Sam made a mistake, and Louis, he wasn't taking any time taking advantage of that. He's moved himself up to P5, and Sam, unfortunately, is a little bit too far away, as I think that's a fight actually up into the hairpin. Tipson and T. Jonas going at it on lap 10. Coming up into these fast right-handers. It's going to be quite hard for TJ, except he's still going to be able to hold around the outside. Up the inside into the next corner. I think that's a Mercedes grandstand. Tipson hasn't given up just yet, despite his stuff's being a little bit older. A little bit worse for wear, sorry. He's still really holding on, still going side by side. TJ, he goes up the inside of the fast right hand, but Tipson, he hasn't given up just yet. Oh, he hits the gravel, and he now has to concede that fight and gives up the lead of this race for now. T-Jonas moves himself up to P1, and Tipson moves down into P2.
Yeah, good fight between the former teammates. No, not former teammates, sorry. Yeah, I think you might be right. I had Jay Boggin instead of Tipson in mind. I'm very sorry about that. Completely my fault. But right now, we've got a change of the lead for the first time on lap 10 now, after Tipson was leading the race for quite a while. Sparks, in the meantime, is very, very close to Jay. And there's a big train forming right now. And look at that. Look on the minimap between P1 and PA. There's no position which is further away than there's always less than a second of a gap between the drivers. But here goes Sparks down the inside of Jay. Nearly hits Sambam Kid as he locks up into the hairpin, and Jay manages to get the position back on traction. But maybe Sparks has had a good run now, coming down towards the Mercedes grandstand. He has got the outside line, which is not really making it easy for him as he gets pushed wide by Jay. Doesn't leave much room, and once again he doesn't leave much room. And now Casper says thank you very much and gets past. I think Jay could have definitely left more space there.
Yeah, plenty of space could have been given. He wasn't giving up that position easily, and he made it a little bit too hard for Sparks to be able to try and take that position off him. Completely run him out of road and almost spun Sparks, so that could have been very, very dramatic indeed. But looks like TJ hasn't quite got the gap that I was expecting him to get on Tipson, but that's DRS, the slipstream for you, I guess, as we can see the almighty train that is happening right now from whatever position to whatever position. It's just a huge train, and DRS is slipstream. I think once again it's just going to be like this for a very long time, with some people only just being able to make some moves sometimes.
Yeah, it is very close all the time. And there goes Will now. He has got the chance to move himself up into P2, and that's what he does. And oh, there goes Louis for a late lunge on the Red Bull of Cameron, and he gets the move done, touches Tipson's rear tyre, and now he's side by side with him as well, coming down into the Mercedes grandstand. I'm lost for words right now, I'm very sorry, but Tipson keeps this spot for now, even though he is on such an old compound of tyres, or such a worn compound of tyres, sorry. And from P1 to P14, it is pretty close between every single driver. The only driver in there who's pretty alone actually is maybe Bran. He's got a 2.5 second gap to the front. He's got a 1.8 second gap behind him. So yeah, pretty not the most exciting race for him, while everyone around him is fighting for position and is having a great time.
Absolutely, but one person who's having a really great time is Louis Welch. He's absolutely flying up into P4 despite being on that slowest compounded tyre. So I think Louis right now is in the best position to win this race. And on the traction on the exit of turn 3, he's going to get Tipson before the DRS straight almost. He's flown past him already on the traction, except can Cameron do anything to Tipson? Launch up the inside into the hairpin. Tipson's still going to look for it. Cameron goes up the inside into the hairpin. Tipson has to leave in the room. It looked like he wanted that position off Louis, except Cameron makes a late lunge and manages to get up the inside of Tipson. Tipson drops back one more position, and I think that's a soft tie. It's almost completely gone now. But Louis, he's up into the top 3 and into a podium position. So Will's just made the move. The lead of this race, TJ, drops down into P2, into the clutches, and the threat of Louis, who's breathing down his neck already. And Louis, it's only a matter of time, only a few laps until he's going to take the lead of this race, I can assure you that.
Yeah, and especially on the hard compound, that's so impressive. I mean, that just points out how quick he is on this game. Not even a quarter of the race is done, and he is already up into the top 3, up into the podium paying positions. And I'm pretty sure he's going to dominate this race. I think we should appreciate the time while it's still exciting for the race win for the moment. But Louis has got to destroy that little battle. But there goes Louis down the inside of TJ now. Can he get him on traction on the straight now? He's just such a beast on this game. It's great to watch him. It's so much fun just to see how perfect his lines are. But TJ defends the inside line. And here goes Louis then round the outside through the hairpin. Let's see, can he get the spot from TJ? I know TJ is really good in terms of racecraft as the two make contact. And that actually has an effect on TJ's exit. Now he has got the outside line, TJ. Louis on the inside, and Louis gets past. There are Alfa Romeo drivers. Cameron goes round the outside of TJ as well. TJ leaves him the space. Very, very clean so far. And I think Cameron has to give way for the moment. No, he keeps it on the outside as TJ hasn't got a proper opportunity to leave any more space through such a quick corner. And he keeps the spot for now. But I think it's only going to be a matter of time till Louis takes the win and takes the lead and runs away with it.
Yeah, for sure. But TJ didn't make it easy for him despite being, I think, what tier was TJ? F5?
F3.
If I remember right. F3, sorry.
He moved
I thought
up.
it was F5. Yeah, he moved up. I remember that now. But TJ, despite being in the lower tier, he wasn't making it easy for Louis. He was fighting. He's also fighting Cameron. He's not giving up, which is fantastic to see. Giving us a good racing. Here comes Louis. He's going to get that position. He's so confident. You can see it in his overtakes. He's going to be able to go up the inside of Will. Will he be able to make it easy for him? Doesn't look like it, Louis. Oh, Will made a little bit of contact actually, except here comes Cameron. He's just behind Will with that contact. Ooh. Cameron's completely boxed in. TJ, he's going to go around the outside coming into the Mercedes grandstand. It is Alfa Romeo around the outside of the Red Bull. A little bit of contact made. Cameron got completely boxed in, had no room. TJ, he's trying to get that P2 back. He's really fighting for this, but Cameron, he wanted a little bit of an opportunity to arise, which just didn't happen. He got completely boxed in, wasn't able to make a move, but he was still there. But TJ, he's really fighting these top drivers, and it's really great to see. But now it's Louis' turn to just run away with this race winners. Brand has just got past Sparks, but maybe it won't be an easy win for Louis if he keeps up this pace. It certainly will be, but maybe he'll make a mistake, an unlikely mistake, but you never know. It could happen.
Everything's possible, especially in a 100% race. And yeah, I'm really surprised how close the field still is. I mean, lap 16, maybe it's a good thing to have a 100% race due to the fact that not many people had to pit yet, except from those guys who started on the soft. But the rest of the grid is still out on their first set of tyres. There goes Casper, maybe down the inside. That was a half-hearted move from him, and he stays back for now and still in P7, while his teammate has already taken the lead and formed a gap of 1.2 seconds for the moment. But I guess right now he will be saving a lot of ERS as well.
Yeah, I mean, Casper, he had a look at the move, but I think he decided, we've just lost... never mind, he's just retired in the pits. Yeah. Boring.
As They've got a lot of activity still in the chat, which is great to see, but seems like not many people are actually discussing the race. They're discussing their FIFA skills or the race strategy for China. I don't know, I can't help, but it seems like the rest of the chat was able to help. But we'll have to wait and see what happens in this race, as there's a slow McLaren. That's the retired one. As Sparks has dived into the pits on the mediums. So interesting. That's quite early for a first stop, I think.
Honestly, couldn't tell you. Not a clue, but now it's Cameron on TJ. They both got DRS, but I think Cameron might have that little extra in straight line speed. He's going to be able to make the move into the hairpin. He's going to be on the inside. TJ breaks late, tries to hold it around the outside. Big contact being made between the two wheels. Oh no! The crash! Cameron's off of the wall. TJ's in the grass. No real damage for TJ, but certain damage for Cameron. Cameron looked like he was able to easily take...
look at Casper. Sorry to interrupt you, but Casper tries to use all that chaos to his advantage, and he's not only getting one spot, he's not only getting 2 spots, he's getting 3 spots within, I don't know, 10 seconds. He's used that crash between TJ and Cameron, and has then used the confused Toro Rosso of Sambam Kid to get round the outside of him as well. And he's now chasing after Jay, who is currently in P3 but still behind Will.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate for Cameron, who was in the fight for a podium today. He could have been in the fight for a top 2 finish, maybe of the race win, if Louis decides to crash and make it easy for everyone. But that's really unfortunate for Cameron. There's still time for him to come back. A safety car may be needed, but hopefully he can still do it on overall pace. But TJ, he's still in this race. He's still fighting a little bit lower than what he was before, but he's still there, and Cameron looks like he's going for another set of mediums, it seems. So there's the strategy happening. There's still going to be much more pit stops happening in this race, so
we might actually see a 1 stop from some drivers. There goes Owen. Tries to defend against Lico, but it looks like he hasn't got much of a chance, even though Lico is on a hard compound. Iron Neon is pitted onto the hards. I doubt that they can last for such a long time. What is that, 50 laps? Yeah, it should be 50 laps.
Yeah, 50 laps.
I'm not really sure if that would work, but we'll have to wait and see for that, as QPR Beast has gone past Boomer out of the hairpin up into P12. Remember, it's all for pride, it's all for glory in this race. No points being handed out to any of the drivers. It's just to prove that you are one of the best champions of this PSGL game phase, let's say, because it's obviously not only one season, it's multiple seasons, but it's just one game. But right now Louis proves that he is probably the best of the PSGL champions on this game. And there goes Jay past Will. What will Casper do? He tries to go for the outside on Will. Will he make the move stick? He's still side by side with him as they're heading down towards the Mercedes grandstand, but it looks like Will has got that extra bit of straight line speed there. But there goes Casper, late move down the inside, and he gets the move done against Will. Good job from the Williams driver. Now we've got 2 Williams drivers on the podium.
Yeah, there's a reason why they're in the Williams. It's kind of a mark of they're the quickest in a way, but Louis, he's definitely the quickest pad driver on the game, except Boomer and QPR Beast was just having a little bit of a fight. Boomer went wide in the hairpin, lost that position. Cameron's moved himself up out of the last running position up into P16, getting past Jared, but Louis, he's just proving that he's the best pad driver in the game, and possibly, quite likely, the fastest champion in PSGL on this 2019 game. So Louis just proving to everyone just a little bit more that he is the GOAT.
Absolutely, and I actually just realized that my throat already gets dry as we've got a spin, and I think that's, I don't know, Neon. Not really his race, is it? But I just realized my throat gets very, very dry right now, and we're not even at the halfway mark. I probably should have had more drinks here to just not have such a dry throat. If I have to shout, my voice has got to crack at some point. But you'll find that funny except for myself. But so we're just going to keep that. Owen gets back past Lico actually. who has passed him just a few laps ago. But there goes Lickle down the inside once again. And, oh, good job by Owen. He keeps the spot around the outside. Also, gotta mention Bran is doing a solid race as well. P7 for now. That's not too bad.
Yeah, he's just kind of chilling right now, having a nice little race. As we've had Sparks get past Boomer after their little pit stops. Sparks moves it up into P13, but the drinks issue, yeah, I probably should have been more prepared for that. I had a cheeky pint before this, and I'm regretting my decisions because I need the toilet. But I also probably should have brought some more drinks in here so I could actually sip on something, otherwise my throat's just going to become dry and close up and die. And also voice cracking. I know I've had issues with that before as I start shouting as people come across the line. And I start sounding like some sort of mating call, but, you know.
I really hope for a safety car. That will give me time real quick to get something to drink. I don't want to leave the stream just in the middle of the race now. We're on lap 21 and quite a while to go yet. It really feels like an endurance race, to be honest.
It does, but the first 20 laps, that's actually gone really quickly. I feel like...
Yeah, that's true.
An endurance race, 100% race, seems to go much quicker than you expect it to, because I once did a 4-hour endurance race on GT Sport, but it felt like an hour at the least. And with this race, I mean, it's like something 30-ish laps for a 50% race, and we're already at lap 21. But because it's a 100% race, every single lap seems to be a little bit quicker for some reason. I don't know. It's just kind of an effect in your brain or whatever. Makes it feel a little bit quicker, so it's not too bad, really.
I would actually love to commentate on a 24-hour race once, but not like a 24-hour F1 event, but a proper 24-hour race with driver swaps and all. That would be great. Obviously, you can't do all the 24 hours in a row. You obviously have to make kind of commentated swaps, but I would love to do that, especially the night stints. Just to try to keep the viewers entertained. Obviously, you guys who are watching at home, obviously you want to have a bit of a show as well. That's why we're trying to make it as entertaining as possible for you. That's why I don't want to leave the stream to get something to drink real quick.
Yeah, that's why I don't want to run either.
But right now Casper seems to be a little bit stuck behind Jay. Oh, it's the ERS tactical game. Might be both, and yes, it is the tactical game. Look at the amount of ERS he has got left. My goodness.
Yeah, this is one of the issues of this game. This is why I'm so happy to have the overtake button. I mean, as long as the overtake button isn't just every single straight, just give it a yeet and you run off with it. Hopefully it's more of a tactical thing, so ERS is actually an interesting thing in the game. So the game will manage it for you, and then with the overtake, you press it hopefully tactically and not just a dump of the ERS every single straight. So I have a lot of hope for F1 2020, but I don't want to get too hyped up for it and then be disappointed.
It's Masters.
It is still Codemasters, but you know, also the... Hang on a second, Casper might actually make a move on Jay now.
Yeah,
there you go, before they happen.
I was just flipping onto that, and I was just about to interrupt you, but then luckily you saw it as well. And yeah, he's moved himself up into P2, so we've got a Williams 1-2. I'm not surprised, not at all. But I am surprised that it's Louis leading the way on the hards.
I mean, I'm not sure if that's a surprise. I mean, I wasn't expecting him to get up the grid so quickly, but it's Louis. I guess he's one of only two drivers on the hards right now. Only him and Lickle have taken the hards from the start, and it's clearly working for him. He's still quicker than pretty much everyone. I think Louis is just quite relaxed up the front.
Oh, that's been a yellow flag. Oh, that's Jared.
There has been a Mercedes. Oh,
I
thanks,
thought it
Jared.
was Tipson. Good job, Jared.
We thought it was interesting. Come on, man. Put it together.
Seriously. Such drivers.
Believe him.
Why is he in Race of Champions?
Not 10
nah,
second
just
time
kidding.
penalty as well.
Everything's fine. Please, Big C, Jared and Jack and me, we know each other, so don't be mad at us for taking the mick out of someone. As Lickle pits on his hard compound. Interesting. After 23 laps, he has had enough and fits a set of the mediums. Okay, for the medium drivers.
That's an interesting one.
Before the medium drivers.
Yeah.
I understood for the medium drivers, and I was wondering. Thank you, Jared. Good decision. He retires from the race.
Ah. That's 3 drivers we've had retiring the pit lane now, so one person's decided to crash more dramatically, and
Oh,
never mind.
laggy! Laggy has
He's
crashed.
absolutely sent it in the hairpin. How has this happened?
Oh, maybe his controller disconnected.
I think that could have been it because he races on a pad.
Oh no, please don't tell me.
Oh.
Oh, Laggy, if you tune into the stream, please tell us what happened to you, because I think it has actually been a controller disconnect. That would be a shame. That would be a real
I might have
shame.
just cursed him. As only one person's crashed without retiring in the pits, and Laggy, I mean, we'll put that down to electrical fault. I think a mechanical issue.
Yeah, I think that sums it up quite well. I mean, sometimes you just get a random DNF in this game while you clip the wall at such a low speed. And I remember in my 24-hour F1 race on this game, I hit the wall at like 50 kilometers per hour sideways. Didn't even get front wing damage. No, I have actually no idea how. Nah, I'm just not gonna try to explain it. It's just the game. That's my explanation, and I think everyone who plays this game should know. Why just say that? But right now we've got actually two positions on track, which are being followed closely by another driver. We've got P2 Casper being closely followed still by Jay, who seems to be saving ERS. So standard game stuff, and TJ might be on Sambam Kit, who doesn't seem to have such a low amount of ERS either. So standard game stuff part 2. Good job, game.
Thanks, game. Love it lots. But TJ's really improved over the course of this game. I remember he's really improved. I'm quite happy he has. He's quite nice, pretty decent. So TJ for the next game, I think maybe we'll see him fighting for an F3 title or something, because it's pretty decent.
He was really good. He was really good in F3 this season, in his first ever F3 season as far as I'm aware. Jared has just said he couldn't be arsed racing anymore, and he's looking forward to the next game. I am looking forward to it as well. And then we've got someone saying shame people retire from Race of Champions just because their race is going a bit wrong. I can see that point. I mean, we're all here for fun, we're not all here for results. It's just to say goodbye to this game after a whole year of racing on it in PSGL, and I think it's not really the best way to actually retire. But yeah, I think Jared was just here to, you know, try to get used to less assists. I think he had some assists turn off once again, and he was on wheel, I think.
I guess it's a good opportunity, I suppose, but you know, it's disappointing that we've already lost 5 drivers, and the majority of them, 3 of them, all retiring because they didn't want to race anymore, which is sad. But we also had a mechanical issue and an actual crash. So only one safety car so far, with about 40 laps to go in this race, which is always fun to see. So still not over yet, and anything can happen in this race. Maybe we'll see a bottle from somebody, or I don't know. Anything can still happen in this race. Most people still haven't pit off of their tyres, so I don't think it's long until the mediums are gonna last too much longer.
Yeah, I think we're not far away from the pit window for the medium runners. I think we will see them going till, I don't know, maybe around lap 30 or something. So like you said, I think within the next few laps we will see the pit stops, and it is actually a 1 stop, which surprises me, as Lico goes past QPR Beast, as they are still side by side through the hairpin, as QPR Beast tried to hold it on the inside, but his 21 lap bolt mediums had no chance against those 3 lap bolt ones from Lico. I guess he's doing a double medium strategy then, after he already fitted the hards at the start of this race, and has pitted 3 laps ago for a fresh set of tyres. And Brandon is one of the first guys for their scheduled pit stop, who is gonna try the 1 stop, I guess. Oh no, he's got the mediums ready.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah, mediums. It showed soft for a second, so
yeah,
thank you very much, game. But mediums, interesting. So Brandon's going for a 2 stop as well.
As I say, most of the drivers going to try and pull off a 1 stop. I'm not sure if the hards will be able to last 40 ish laps. I mean, Lowry's taken 27 laps so far, same with the medium's been taking 27 laps, so I think a one stop's not out of the question. Bran choosing a two stop, but you know, I think the strategy in this race could still be interesting.
Down the inside of Lico, who moves over very, very late. Very aggressive defending from Lico as Bran locks up going into the hairpin with the Saturn Senna helmet. I'm going to tell you, I'm using the Michael Schumacher helmet at least once on the next game, as Bran is using it all year long on this game, his Ayrton Senna helmet. I think it's a nice tribute to, if it's one of your favourite drivers. Casper pits as well. Let's see, which tyre will he put onto his car? Looks like it's going to be the mediums as well.
Okay, so I was expecting a one stop coming up to this sort of stage. He might have been one of the people. Actually, yeah, he pit during the start of the race. I think it might have been on the hards.
And it was on mediums, it says. So it seems like it's going to be a 3-stop from him then. He definitely pitted early on in the race because of his front wing damage. But it's...
TJ's going up the inside into the hairpin on Sambam Kid for P4. TJ brakes late, gets up the inside of the Toro Rosso and moves himself up to P4 quite comfortably on the exit too. So finally an overtake's happening.
I'm really sorry
strategy thing
that I missed that, but like you said, the ERS strategy thing just made me not be aware of like the gap, because it was always less than a second. So I thought it's not going to be an overtake anyway. It's going to be ERS tactics. But there you go, overtake.
Finally, stopping the first one in probably like 10-15 laps. I don't know.
Maybe the pit stops will spice things up now.
There you go. There's a pit stop.
Lap 29 for him, and he fits the hearts. He's going for the one stop.
There you go. So I think the normal strategy is going to be a one stop. We've also got TJ coming into the pits after he made his little overtake there. It looks like he's going for the hards. Maybe I can't. No, mediums, hards. Yep. Okay. There you go, hards. So
mediums for Owen. Very mixed. Very mixed.
It is mixed. I was expecting most people to try and go for a one stop. 37 laps on the hards. I was expecting people to do that, except Owen's going to be racing on the pits as there goes Cameron, just about squeezing past him. Except Owen's going to have the DRS. I'm not sure if he's going to fight too much for the position now. Of course, strategy.
Sparks,
tactics.
who tries to go down the inside of TJ, who has just fitted a new set of hards, and Sparks was not able to get the position done. To get the position from TJ, I'm sorry, who has just pitted, like you said, onto the hards, and is now right behind Tipson, as they were very close early on in the race. But remember, Tipson started on the soft compound. I guess Tipson will do the two-stop then, from soft to medium. That's what I guess what happened. Now we've got Red Bull spun. That's Cameron once again.
Oh no, Cameron
into the wall as well, and he's lost front wing.
Cameron looks so promising to start this race, but it's all gone wrong for him. He's not even in the top 10 anymore, but after his incident with TJ being put into the wall, losing his wing, it's happened again, so it's really disappointing for Cameron. I think he had a lot of promise into this race, but it just hasn't quite happened for him, which is the case for some racing sometimes, you know. It's never the same, really, unless it's real life and you got Mercedes everything winning all the time. But there goes TJ. He's actually making a move on Tipson, and so Sparks before the corner's there.
Does Sparks go down the inside of TJ as well? Yes, he does. That's a late move on the medium compound. He leaves TJ the space on the outside, who then gets a great run out of there. And they're going side by side, but I think TJ will just have the upper hand for now as they're coming down towards the Mercedes grandstand once again. I've not said that once or twice. I've said that multiple times this race, and I am going to say it multiple times, even more. And yeah, now Sparks is still behind TJ, but it's nice to have a little bit of a battle going on right now.
Yeah, it's always refreshing to have a battle, but Sparks is so close to TJ, just push him around the track at this point. Still very close to him, but I think if Sparks is fighting that hard all up, I think he's going to breeze past TJ on the big main straight, and Tipson maybe he'll get his revenge, get back in front of him. If he could just keep touch up until that straight, then I think Tipson might attempt it too. So I think it's quite predictable, this fight, but hopefully they carry on fighting. We have more fun consistently throughout this race.
Yeah, it's good to see that Sparks is not giving up against TJ, and as they're coming down towards the hairpin once more, this time Sparks has got the upper hand and has got the position, but maybe TJ makes the switchback work. Not yet. And right behind them there's still Tipson, who is not too far away. And in the meantime, Louis has got the most boring race could have imagined, as we are now nearly halfway through. 33 laps already, and I gotta say those last like 10 laps took quite long.
I mean, I guess so, yeah. Ever since we started saying stuff goes quickly, it started going a little bit slowly, probably because there's less fights or whatever, a little less excitement. But Louis, this must be taking forever for him. He just wants to win, just wants to get it over and done with, because he knows he can do it, and he's sitting about 15 seconds ahead of his Williams teammate Casper, just kind of vibing up at the front. So I think after he pits onto his mediums, he'll be able to just quickly nip past and have a nice time, as Casper, I believe, has to pit again as he's on the mediums. So
yep,
you know how it is.
But right now, it's great to see another train forming up. I haven't seen that in a long time, that there was such a few amount of action, such a low amount. But here goes Lickle now down the inside of Tipson, down into the hairpin. But suddenly there's a train building up, and I've never seen anything similar to that. That the gaps were so big in between the drivers, and then all of a sudden,
Brandon, Sam having a bit of a fight. Did you see that
closed
contact?
the door, yeah. Sam closed the door. It looked
contact.
like.
Yeah, it seemed like I'm not too sure. A little bit of wheel rubbing. Luckily, the drivers all stayed. I think I might have just been a little bit of lag on me, and my brain just breaking a little bit. But yeah, somehow we've suddenly got a train. I guess it's the pit stop, so luckily we've now got a little bit more excitement.
Yeah, it's great to see. It's really good to see, especially because it's Germany. We were saying before the race, Germany is a great track to race on, but it's pretty typical for a 100% race that not every single lap can be the most exciting one of all times. I think that's pretty obvious. In a 50% race, there is the opportunity for the majority to be, you know, very, very exciting, and just the minority being pretty boring and dull. But that's because when the race would slow down, the pit stops are already coming into play, and that spices things up every time. And there goes Brand once again. He tries to get past Sambam Kid now on his 6-lap old mediums. He goes past Sambam Kid, who is on the hards, and he's got the position and is up into P8 for the moment. But look up front, there's Slicker right in the slipstream of TJ. Maybe down the inside he goes. He thinks about it, backs out. That's a half-hearted move from him, but he stays behind for now. And TJ is, I noticed, as Cameron has retired from the session, I think it's crashed.
Yeah, it actually looks like a actual crash, except Lickle looks up the inside of TJ. He's gone for it, almost managed to make it happen. I think that's a full course caution. I'm not sure why though. Is that VSC?
Good thing is, on the top left,
oh, there goes Lickle
to the pits. Nothing. It says nothing on the top left for me.
Yeah, I'm seeing on the track map below it's a full course caution, so
I think it's a VSC, otherwise there would be the dot
so
of the safety car. Okay, Sparks pits onto hards, Lickle pits onto mediums. Alright. That's weird.
Interesting.
But I'm actually,
people doing two different things.
I'm gonna go on Tipson and then get myself something to drink, because otherwise I am actually going to die. I'm on Tipson,
okay.
So it would be nice if you could comment on that.
I will do. Okay, so now we've got well, just Tipson, I guess that's all we're gonna have. Luckily it's a nice decent train. We've got Brand sitting in behind, Sambam Kid behind them. I'm not sure if Brand's gonna make a move on Tipson, if I'm honest, but he's sitting in behind him now. Louis actually makes his pit stop on lap 35, so this means he's gonna take the mediums to the end, about 30 laps on the mediums, I'm going to assume. So that's interesting. Tipson, I mean, it's not Tipson, Felix decides to go the second. Something happens to the race leader, but Brand sitting only about 3/10 behind Tipson right now. I think he might try and make that move on the big long straight, because Tipson is closing in on TJ. I want to talk about TJ though, because TJ's really been fighting with the big boys in this race. I wasn't expecting him to do so well, but he's been fighting the best drivers on the game. Louis comes out in P3, only 4 seconds behind Jay in P2, but Bran not far away from Tibson, and it's only a matter of time until he makes that move. Bran get very close, locking up his brakes. And hello Felix, welcome back.
Yeah, sorry for I wasn't well prepared, and I realised in that fight before that my throat was getting so dry that I was nearly about to cough my lung out. But here goes Bran down the inside of Tibson, and he gets the move done pretty easy on 8 lap fresh mediums compared to 21 lap old mediums, and will gets past Sam Bam Kid as well, who's dropping like a stone at the moment. So it's not really looking good for him on that hard compound at the moment.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it, but while you were away as well, Louis has pit in for the mediums, and he's gained about a second this entire lap already on Jay ahead of him. So Louis still looks like he's very much in the running to win this race. I was talking about TJ saying he's really been fighting the big boys, not letting anyone get past him too easily, but now Bran, he's really close up that gap though, so I think TJ's going to get overtaken very soon. As Bran looked like he almost went up his inside in fact, so I don't think TJ's quite got the pace in this stage of the race.
Yeah, remember TJ doesn't have to pit anymore though, Bran has to. So Bran now has to make the move work, has to make the move on TJ within the next couple of laps as TJ loses the rear end. And there goes Bran, then he has to get a good gap to actually stay in front of TJ till the end of the race, which is going to be very, very difficult for the Brit as he goes down the inside of TJ and up into P4 for the moment.
Yeah, now it's Tibson's turn to try and get past TJ. He's currently being swamped by a few medium runners, but you know, Tibson, it's not long until he'll be pitting in the next 8 laps or so. TJ doesn't have to pit, so everybody in front of him who does pit, he'll gain that position. It just depends, is he going to be able to keep that position after they pit? So TJ, he's just got to try and keep that pace consistent, I think, defend what he can and then gain the positions as they pit. So the 2 drivers around him, Bran and Tibson, will pit at some point. We don't know when, but they will.
Yeah, definitely they have to, and I think he's got good chances of staying in front of Bran. But keep in mind that the stint in a 100% race is a lot longer than it is in a 50% race, and that gives Bran more time to then, you know, get the gap down again towards TJ and get the position back. But look at the background, there goes Will down the inside of Tibson. He pulled up very late, but maybe Sambam Kid can get past Tibson now as well, as they're going side by side once again after the hairpin and round the outside now into the next corner. But no, Tibson backs out already and lets him go. I think Tibson knows that with his 23 lap out mediums he won't really be able to fight.
Yeah, I think his tyres are starting to drop off just a little bit, and those fresher hards are that just a little bit better, so he doesn't fight too hard because he loves his tyres just a little bit more. Maybe he'll sit behind this little train, gain a little bit of time through ERS saving and DRS slipstream, things like that. So Tibson just sitting behind, playing a bit more of a waiting game. You have QPR Beasts pitting after 32 laps on his medium, so that's pretty fun. But this little train of 3, T. Jonas, Will and Sam, they're all together and they're going to go to the end. So this fight in this train could last until the end of the race. It's unlikely, but we can hope.
We can definitely hope. And right now it looks like TJ is still inside the DRS window of Bran, which is definitely not helping Bran. He needs to get TJ out of there to not pull him along in his next upcoming laps. There goes Sparks down the inside of Owen as they go side by side, and maybe Lickle says thank you very much against Owen now as they're going side by side, and the red of Owen loses not 1 but 2 spots at the same time in the same corner and is now down into P11 and outside of the top 10.
Yeah, Owen, I think after he fought a little bit with Sparks, he just managed to He just didn't quite have the exit, something Lickle was able to take advantage as Lickle actually dips into the gravel. So these three having a nice little fight together. So fights in this race becoming a thing again. We had a small dull period, but now it's all back and the fighting is full force action. I don't even know what to say.
Tips and pits, I know what to say, as he fits the mediums. Remember, he was on the softs at the start, so he has fitted 2 different tire compounds and is now allowed to go until the end of this race, and that's what he's going to do as well. TJ though still has got DRS on Bran. Oh no, he hasn't. This time he lost it, and this time Will has got the opportunity. Oh, as they bang wheels as they come down into the hairpin, as they go side by side. I know TJ from F3, I know how to race him, and it's really fun racing him. He races you with a lot of respect usually, and he is very clean as Will goes for an aggressive dive on the inside, and he clips TJ's tyre, and I think he should give that place back.
He should. He just kind of clipped his wheel, knocked him out of the way, and it got him the position, which is a little bit illegal, but Sam, he closed up because of that, but he wasn't quite close enough to be able to make a full move. So Will, it was aggressive with TJ, which is what you need to be sometimes to fight, but maybe that was a little bit too aggressive. It was quite a late swing to the inside, knocked his wheel, knocked him out the way, and yeah, got the position because of it.
Yeah, I think F1, as we all know, is a no contact sport, so you should try to avoid it, and I think that contact definitely helped him getting past TJ, as the contact really unsettled the Alfa Romeo, and yeah, made him get a bad exit out of the corner. But still, he keeps the spot and stays in front. No real use of any reports or anything. I mean, it's a race of champions. We're all here for fun. As Sparks goes down the inside of Lico, pushes him wide. Lico comes back onto the track as he nearly clips the side pod of Sparks, and now goes for the outside. No, maybe the inside move. And once again, a very late switch, and he pushes Sparks off. And right now, the racing gets pretty aggressive, not gonna lie.
Yeah, Owens just made a position because of that as well. He moved himself up to P9 because Sparks and Lickle got very aggressive with each other. I think Lickle really launched it quite late. So the Mercedes Grandstand's been quite a prime overtaking opportunity for most drivers. They seem to get very aggressive into there. I mean, there's still time left in this race, 25-6 laps still left to go in this race. So, you know, drivers starting to get a bit aggressive now, but there's still time to wait, and you can sit behind the driver for a little while longer, so it's not too important to make that move all the time, but they're doing it anyway. I guess it's entertaining.
Yeah, I think right now you can't believe how much I'm looking forward to Sunday next week, when F1 Real Life gets back. There goes Sparks down the inside, late move on Owen. He even locks the inside front and hits Owen's side pod, and luckily there's no side pod damage on this game, otherwise Owen would have a lot of that, as Sparks locked up and stayed behind though, so everything's fine in between them. Nobody's got any damage, I think. Or has Owen maybe lost a bit of his front wing? I don't think he has. No, he's got every single part of his front wing still on his car, and that is good to see. And right now, as we still have some gaps which are under 1 second, still the drivers aren't really overtaking each other, and Bran isn't really using that medium compound at all. He's not really putting away.
It doesn't look like it, so I think Bran could be out of contention for a P4, as he just hasn't been able to shake this gap to the drivers behind. But I think we're going to be seeing some beautiful train action. I mean, if you're a train simulator fan, I guess this is also a game for you, as we're going to be seeing that for the next few laps, I imagine. So shouldn't be too interesting, except here comes, I think, sorry, that was Owen up the inside of Lickle. I think Lickle managed to make the move.
Oh no,
there's going to be a crash there
once again.
It's happened, the exact same. That's a carbon copy. Owen's into the wall, and he's come off worse, just like Cameron did.
If he gets a penalty,
earlier.
he gets a penalty.
That's unlucky for Owen. Lickle comes off relatively unscathed, other than maybe probably heated tyres and no wing damage, so Lickle gets quite lucky, but that's the second time we've seen that exact incident happen into that exact corner, so the drivers maybe just need to cool it just a little bit. As you can see, there's still 23 laps of this race to go,
Yeah,
I think they might just need to cool it.
I believe that could be something we were talking about before the race, that that 100% length does have an impact on the drivers. The Sambam kid tries it. He had a little look on the inside of TJ down into turn 2, but he backed out and thought about it once more and backed out. And let's see, Sambam kid now on the straight, easily past TJ. He didn't really fight it. And what I wanted to say is, I think right now, as we have already we've already passed the length of a 50% race, where we would only have had 34 laps, I think. 34?
Something around that.
Yeah, 34 laps, and now we are on lap 45 as Casper's just started that one. And yeah, I think the concentration levels could get a bit lower now, and the consistency could get down. The drivers might be a bit exhausted. And yeah, I can tell you it's not really easy to do a 100% race, especially online. Every single mistake is there, and it has been made, and you can't rewind it. There are no flashbacks or anything like in Korea, but here it's just one mistake and you're out of the race. Maybe the drivers are just yeah, maybe a bit exhausted because they had to think about that for 44 laps now already.
Yeah, it's really mentally draining. I mean, physically, maybe not so much on the game, maybe using a wheel a little bit more, but I think it is quite mentally draining for the drivers. Will goes for a late lunge on Bran. Oh, that was quite close, actually. Made a little bit of contact with him, but it's quite mentally draining after driving for 45 laps. I mean, sometimes it could get a bit boring, but certainly quite draining for the drivers and quite a tough challenge, if I'm honest, but, you know.
Yeah, I think what you said with the boring part, I think that could be quite tricky as well, because you might lose even more concentrations. I mean, when you're driving and it's very boring, you have no one around you, you might not really pay attention to the gaps, and then you just drive and you think you've got time because no one's around you, and suddenly you realize you've lost 3 seconds within the last, I don't know, 6 laps or something. And the concentration levels are maybe then a little lower than they would be if you would be in a fight all the time.
I mean, yeah, sometimes you could just go into autopilot and just drive around the track. I know I do that sometimes when I'm just vibing up at the front or at the back. You just go into autopilot, drive the car, and you just kind of everything happens around you. That can happen. It's just all the more the same in the 100% race, except here comes Will. He's actually going to be able to make the move up the inside of Bran, coming into the hairpin this time. Bran look for a switchback maybe, except he's lost out that position to Will. With the slipstream, I think he may be able to make the move into the Mercedes grandstand. This possible. Will defends the middle line. Bran doesn't go for the move just yet. He sits in behind. I think he's going to wait for the DRS. His medium stint really hasn't gone out well for him. He still has to pit, don't forget. This medium stint has not gone well for Bran at all, if I'm honest.
He will probably pit onto a set of softs at the end for maybe the last like 12 laps or something, but you can't really take the softs any longer. But he will have to take the softs, otherwise he'll have to go for a stint on the hards, which would make even less sense. And yeah, I think Bran just slightly compromised his own race with his strategy.
Yeah, I think that's possible. He just didn't quite get the gap that he wanted after he pit. He didn't ever really break that second gap, which kept the hard drivers behind him. And now the hards are better than his mediums. He's losing out to them, except he's going to come back on Will around the outside of the hairpin. This gives Will the inside line, which means he's going to be able to defend it quite well. It's all about the exit now, as Brandon looks like he's got that better exit on Will, and he's moved himself back up into P4, gets that position back off of him. So 20 laps to go. Brandon and Will really fighting, keeping the drivers behind them just about within reach to give them a little bit of a tug as they fight more and more.
Yeah, it's really sad to have in mind that Bran will have to give up on this battle at some point when he makes his second pit stop, and will just go past him. But it's really good to see that those two are fighting. Bran with a good move around the outside just then through the hairpin. And yeah, all in all, I think it's been a solid race in terms of pace from Bran. But in terms of strategy, I think he threw it all out the window at once when he pitted onto another set of mediums. Sorry, not inters. Um, onto another set of mediums, while many other drivers pitted onto hards to make the one-stop work, which yeah, did make sense as well.
Yeah, but Will, he's... Oh, actually, I was going to say he's not going to be able to make the move into the hairpin, but it almost actually happened for him. Had a little bit of a flick of the wheel and almost ran into the back of Bram, which could have ended badly. Sam's caught about a 10th, so maybe we'll see Sam join in this little fight. Not too long, but Bran seems to be locking his brakes quite a lot. If there were flat spots in this game, then he'd have many.
Yeah, probably just one big. It would just be one big square, not even a round tire anymore. But luckily for him, this is not the case in real life. The vibrations on those tires, on his wheel, will be incredible by now. But yeah, I heard that the non-ABS users are being treated well on the new game as well, as it's supposed to be a lot harder to lock up on the new game, which is kind of more realistic, I guess. I hope. I don't know.
I guess. I mean, things like that is worse for me because I prefer lower traction and a little bit harder on the brakes. That's where I'd normally gain all of my time, so I think I'm going to be slow in the 2020 game, except Will, it looks like he's going to be able to breeze past Bran. Except Bran's not going to give up too easy, tries hard around the outside, except I think that's not going to be quite good enough for Bran, loses out in that position to Will. Once again, drops back into P5 as he was just a couple of laps ago. Sam's closed up even more now, so I think Sam's definitely going to join in on this fight.
Yeah, a three-way fight for P4 for the moment would be quite nice. But I'm guessing Bran will pit in, I don't know, about 4 to 5 laps or something. I could see him doing 13 laps on the softs. But sadly, he will definitely have to pit. Otherwise, I think in terms of tyre wear, he definitely could have gone till the end.
Yeah, I agree. That's probably what's going to happen. About 12 laps in the softs. We've reached lap 50 now, though, so I'd say that's a milestone in the race. Only 17-ish laps to go. I don't know how to maths with like the extra lap or whatever. So
18.
Go with 17. 18.
If this one included 18, yeah. So right now about 17 and a half laps left for our race leader Casper, who just picked up another 3-second time penalty. By the way, I'm very surprised and impressed that we didn't have a disqualification yet.
I guess so. I'm not sure the penalties have actually been that high, if I'm honest. I'm not sure that many drivers have got like 24 seconds or whatever some people get sometimes, but yeah, no disqualifications is good. I've seen a couple of people do that, some talented people who somehow managed it. Sondre.
I mean, I gotta say, I feel very bad for some drivers. We've got literally no one near them right now. For example, I think Lico really is quite alone at the moment, or Casper, or Louis, or especially Jay. Look at Jay. He's got a 12-second gap in front. He's got a 16-second gap behind, and he's just driving around, probably in more or less his own autopilot, not really paying attention. And it's now been more than an hour of racing on the F1 game, and recently I've been doing some competitive races on ACC, and there it's something different because the car really changes the way it behaves. But on the F1 games it's not that way, as Bran goes down the inside of Will once again. It's really nice to have a back and forth fight between the two of them, the Renault and the Red Bull, and Bran takes the position back for now. But I can't fully enjoy that one because, like I said, Bran is still yet to make another pit stop. And
I know, except
yeah,
Sparks has just got past TJ as well for P7, which is nice to see. So some fights going on, except TJ seems to be dropping off the pace he was fighting up for P4 a little bit earlier on in the race. He was really fighting the big boys, but I think a little bit later on it was harder for TJ to fight them so much, and he's just kind of lost out more and more during this race, which is disappointing. But Louis is only 3 seconds away from Casper. I think Casper will be doing the same as Brown, pitting again, so I think it's still very much Louis' race to win quite easily, I imagine. So I think the biggest fight in this race will be for the fight for P4 between Sam and Will, but I think Will's that little bit quicker than Sam, and he's going to be able to take that P4.
Yeah, for the moment at least he is, as Will comes back for another round in that fight with Bran, but sadly Bran doesn't really defend. Would like to see them properly fighting, you know, Bran defending the inside line, then maybe sending Will towards the outside as Casper makes his final stop, his third stop of the race, as he had to pit on lap 1 under the safety car. And yeah, I'm really curious to see what kind of times he will do now, because those will be absolutely ridiculous, I'm sure.
Yeah, much quicker than the hards in front of him, which are over 20 laps old. So
he even stays in front of Jay.
He does.
Wow.
That's just how lonely Jay was. So 13 seconds to catch Louis in these few laps. I think if he gains a second a lap on Louis, then he'll be able to catch. But do you think he's going to be able to do that?
Sorry, I was just reading the chat. What did you say?
I think. Do you think Casper will be able to gain over a second a lap to be able to catch up to Louis to try and win this race?
I really can't see that happening, especially because towards the end of this stint his softs will be going down, and I think Louis has got enough pace still in his car to then, if it's necessary, just get that extra bit of pace and you know, show the rest what he's got. And I was just reading the chat. Well, Sam was just spamming some letters, which said BDG Connor, and then Paco came in and ruined it.
Thanks, Paco. Love you lots.
Oh, and thank you, Caden, for keeping up with penalties. He said Casper will catch up, which you just asked, Jack, and then he said Louis has one less pen at the moment. So interesting. I didn't really kept track of the pens.
I knew Casper had more penalties than Louis. I wasn't sure the specific amount. Not Jay Carty, unfortunately, gets a 5-second penalty. Now I can hear Fred outside my door, and that annoys me. But I think I don't think Casper will even be able to catch up. QPR beasts.
Is this going to be a safety car?
I'm not sure.
Oh, he's right in the middle of the road.
Dangerous position. Okay. I don't think the game's going to give that a safety car because it's broken.
That's really unfortunate for him. You are doing a 100% race, and then around 14 laps before the end you crash out.
I would be heartbroken.
Yeah, so
and I would probably break most things inside of my house. I don't think there'd be a living soul left in a 5-mile radius.
As Casper puts in 13.0, starting off with a very, very competitive time, to say the least, as it is already caught quite a lot towards Louis, so maybe that actually gets exciting towards the end. Maybe we will see an on-track battle for the race win, or at least for the on-track position.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Brian, I'm just waiting for his pit stop. It's going to be around now that he's going to pit, and it's going to bring an end to his fight with Will, and that's sad and disappointing. But never mind, we always knew it was going to happen. So he can, I'm not cry in peace or something.
Yeah, Bran, I have no idea why you did the 2-stop with 2 sets of mediums. Why on earth you thought that would be a good idea? He's probably even gonna drop down to P9 or P10. So yeah, good work,
far
Bran.
back.
Good work.
Good one, Brian. We love Brandon, really. But I do think his tyres are starting to dive. There goes Casper again,
Yeah,
being quick. 10 seconds away from Louis. I could be wrong.
yeah, it could
Maybe.
be. He's catching by around a second per lap.
I think, towards the end of that stint though, I think the softs are going to die a little bit more than the mediums towards the end.
There goes Ran into the pits.
There you go.
But like I said, I think Louis got enough energy left to still put out, push for some good lap times. He hasn't got that much ERS though. Neither has Casper.
Yeah, neither
though.
has Casper. So, yeah, I think Louis is going to hold on to this one still relatively easily, as Casper hasn't quite caught as much as I was expecting on that lap. So I think Louis still quite easily got this in the bag. I don't think Casper's going to be able to fight him, like genuinely fight him. He'll get relatively close. That's brought it a little bit more even, but my prediction still stays the same.
Actually, Caden has made a good point. That actually just add on 11 laps on those mediums for Louis and 32 laps. That's not the best condition for a medium compound around here, I think.
It's gonna be worn, we'll call it, absolutely dead. But I don't think Casper's gonna have the pace now over Louis would to be able to catch up enough. Yes, they're about even on penalties, and towards the end their tyres will be even. Even if their pace was even, Casper wouldn't be able to catch. So I think once everything does become even on the tyre front, I think Louis is still going to be able to gain. I think Louis is a little bit quicker than Casper, so I don't think Casper's going to be able to win.
I have no idea how many times you said the word even within like a span of 15 seconds. And then you stopped and then you just said even one more time. But yeah, Louis is on 42% tyres at the moment, it says. Oh, that's not that much right now, actually.
I don't think it's going to be kind of puncture threatening, but they're not going to be pretty, I could tell you that.
No, definitely not. They're not going to feel great, but neither will Casper Softs. And I really, still, I have no idea what Brand thought when he pitted onto another set of mediums. He's now 6.9 seconds behind Lico, and I really, really doubt that he can get back up into P5. That would be one of the most incredible fight backs I've ever seen, but I really don't think so.
Yeah, I think it'd be an absolute miracle if he got anywhere near P5, so I think Brand's race is a little bit limited for now, but the biggest talking point thing I'd say is the fight for P1. Casper's catching quite a lot, but I'm just gonna have to stick with my prediction now, aren't I? He's not gonna catch. He says I might look a little bit stupid now.
Well, Casper is still catching, but I think not as much as he was a few laps ago. Or is he? Is he still catching that much?
He's still catching, but maybe not quite as dramatically as he was before.
And also remember, both are using all of the ERS right now. Also, Casper has got maybe 1 or 2 laps left till his tyre wear is going to kick in. Because those softs, man, I tell you, they are not good.
Yeah,
I tell you, the softs around Germany, I don't know who thought it would be a good idea to bring those tyres here. And I don't know who thought it would be a good idea to let the real FF1 teams vote on which tyres they want to use. Because now we've got the same compounds and the same tyres we had last season. So good job. I really don't know why they let the teams vote. We always had like boring races in terms of strategies. So it was all, if something was coming down, it was coming down on the racetrack itself. But I think strategy should be an interesting factor as well. I'm actually a fan of those 2012 races with like 3 to maybe even 4 pit stops per race. I
Yeah,
love
it's a
those
little bit
times.
better. It's a little bit better, I'd say.
It made things more interesting. I remember
It
there were
did.
drivers who did the 4 stop, there were drivers who did the 2 stop, and it just made things so exciting. Speaking of exciting, we've got Sparks right behind Sam Bam Kid and Lickle right behind TJ, and suddenly we've got 2 more battles.
Thankfully, I mean, battles are good, battles are fun, so that's something, I guess. Lickle is definitely quicker than TJ from overall pace anyway, I'd say, so I think
But here goes
Lickle's
Sparks for
going to try
now.
and clear him.
Sam Bam Kid doesn't even really defend, and let's see what Lickle does. TJ doesn't really defend either, I think, or is he? No, he just stays in his line, saves his ERS. He's got a lot of ERS left though. Lickle hasn't got that much, so maybe, just maybe, TJ saves his ERS for one final fight back against Lickle on one of the final laps. But we'll have to wait and see for that. As Bran is 3.8 seconds behind TJ, he might still get TJ. He might.
Maybe. I mean, TJ's hards are going to be about 36 laps old or something like that by the end of this race, and Bran, he's catching a bit on TJ, but not very much. And I don't think TJ's going to be able to fight Lickle that much, if I'm being truly honest, so I think pretty much that whole fight is going to have to wait until the very, very end of this race. Sparks is just about within a second of Will, so he's going to have DRS, and the fight for P4 could be on in this race if Sparks be able to close up a little bit through that DRS and slight bit of slipstream. Sam behind them, if they start to fight ahead of him, then the battle for fourth will become a three-way fight, and that would be really nice to see.
That would be great for us, at least. I mean, we did have quite a dull period within those last, I don't know, 10 to 20 laps. Those weren't the most exciting ones, to be honest. But I gotta say, if this was real life, then it would have been quite exciting. Because just
Yeah, I'd say
remember
so.
how much fighting there was at the start of the race. And I think it's pretty obvious when you only have 13 cars on the track and some gaps of 28 seconds, then it is very impossible to have something happening all the time. But at least we always had like battles within the span of like 10 laps or something.
Yeah, I mean, at least we haven't had an entire kind of section of race where it hasn't been totally boring. There's still been fights and strategy talks all the way through, so at least there's been something going on. But Sparks is closed up even more on Will, and I think he might be gone for that move. Yes, he will be. He's going to try and make the move. It looks like he's going to be clear coming up to hairpin. Will breaks late, tries to hold it around the outside, except I think Sparks is going to have that slightly better launch. Yes, he does, and Will sits in behind with the DRS slipstream later on in this race. Maybe this fight can continue, but Sparks seems to be the slightly quicker driver right now.
Yeah, Sparks is on a mission right now. He is on 4-lap fresher hards. That shouldn't be that much of a difference in a 100% race, actually, especially if it's the hard compound. But he has been really quick in those past few laps, as he first passed Sambam Kit for P5 and then passed Will for P4 and is now in P4 where Bran was before he made his complete strategy error. As speaking of Bran, he is only 9/10ths behind TJ right now, so a really, really good job by Bran for catching up that way. Owen gets past Boomer right now as those two are ghosting. Don't know why. Oh, because it's Jay in front of them.
Oh. Oh yeah, I see that now.
Why. That makes sense.
I get it.
Let's see, is Will gonna fight back? No, Will stays behind. Let's see what happens between TJ, Bran and Lickle. TJ knows Bran is coming behind him, so he goes for a move on Lickle down the inside. He leaves Lickle the room on the outside. Lickle touches him once again. Didn't the same happen between him and, was it Owen? I think Owen. But here goes Licker once again in front of the Mercedes grandstand, and he doesn't give TJ much room. There goes Brad now around the outside through the next corner. And that's an easy move for Bran, or is it? TJ tried to hold it on the inside. But Lico, very, very aggressive driving from him today.
Yeah, I mean, he had the incident with Owen a little bit earlier in the race, and TJ also had his incident with Cameron in that corner earlier in the race. So the hairpin has really been quite a dangerous position to be on the track during this race. A lot of drivers have caused themselves a few incidents and got a little bit sketchy through there.
Yeah, let's see if Will is maybe actually able to fight back against Sparks, but I think he's just that little bit too far behind for now. Yes, he is, but let's see. What does Brand do? He gets a little bit of space from Lico. Not much. They make contact. Lico moves to the inside once again. He tries to dive it down the inside of Brand as they make contact once again. Let's see. Lico leaves him the space on the outside. Brand gets him on the traction. He has got the better tyre compound for now. Don't know how it looks in terms of wear, but he is Bran on the inside now of Lico. He won't leave him much space. No, he pushes him off the track. Could have left more space. But, yeah, as Lico goes completely off the track.
Yeah, I think Lico's been very aggressive in this race. I mean, coming into the final 3 laps this race, I mean, I'm not too surprised. So, Lico being very aggressive, but Bran was aggressive too there, just running him completely out of track. So, you know, all goes around comes around. TJ sitting in behind this fight, but I think he's not quite in it. He's a little bit too far out.
Yeah, that's got a solid amount with VRS though.
He does actually, to be fair. But I don't think he's quite got the overall pace to be able to, you know, keep up.
That is true, and he's got the worst tyres out of them all right now. As we are 3 laps before the end, as Louis is about to cross the line for his penultimate lap in the lead. And as this is just a race of champions, I think, and there are no points obviously, I think we should invite Louis to, let's say, the winning interview, maybe to have some last words for the PSGL channel on this game. Maybe say what his favourite moment was, maybe ask him some questions, but not really concerning the race. But I think for someone who wins the race of champions, I think he deserves to have some words for the final race of the season in PSGL Race of Champions. We still got the finale for the PSGL FP Challenge Cup though, coming on Tuesday. Sadly
the Monaco race for Grid 2 was cancelled.
I was actually very sad about that. I was really looking forward to it.
I love Monaco.
Yeah, and especially with the quick drivers starting from the back. Night race, no qualifying race, and yeah, I think it would have been great, but let's see.
Yeah, it would have been nice, but yeah, I think it's a little bit harder to conduct an entire podium interview as, of course, you can't ask the typical question, what do you think of the next track? So, it's quite sad that we haven't got that, because that's why I always fall back on.
We can ask what he's going to do with the money, though. Isn't he
That's true, apparently,
money?
McDonald's.
Oh yeah, I just saw it in the chat as well. So let's just confirm that when we're in the interviews.
I completely forgot that you get money for winning this.
What be? I actually did as well. What be a good investment though? Not gonna lie.
What would you spend the money on?
20 quid. I don't know how much that is in euros. Not that much.
That's about 25 euro.
Nah, could be around. Yeah, could be around that.
25 to 30 euro.
Yeah, probably. Nah, it's not enough for karting, so probably food as well. Oh yeah, we've got a great burger restaurant here in my city right next to me, and it's awesome. And they're like a burger is like 7 quid or something, or 8 quid. The one I'm always taking is 8 quid, so I would take that. But we can ask Louis right then in the party as he crosses the line to win the Race of Champions in PSGL 2019. Congratulations on the win, very dominant in front of Casper. And no, TJ's retired.
Oh. I have no idea where or how, but it looks like actually in the hairpin maybe. Before the hairpin, I think he might have had something happened with Lickle, possibly. Because Lickle's lost a lot of time to Brand
no.
too.
Yeah,
So I think
he's before the
yeah.
corner, inside, into the wall.
Because Big C just said, Lickle the what I shall not say because I'm kind. So I think there might have been some dodgy happenings right there at the end. So
Dodgy happenings, but Jay
sad.
takes P3 instead, ahead of Sparks. Will finishes P5 in front of Sambam Kid. No, Sambam Kid and Will actually drop down as Brand takes P5 on penalties by 1/10 of a second.
I mean, fair play to Brand. No penalties. It's always good to never get any, and that's really worked out for him well. P5.
Lickle was quite far behind Brand as well, so I think there was something between him and TJ. Very sad. But Tipson takes P9 in the end. Very sad I didn't catch that, but I had to watch Casper and Louis coming across the line for another 1-2 of the Williams guys. Not really surprising.
See that in real life.
It's been quite a while, not gonna lie.
Has been. Anyway, really well done to Louis. Absolutely fantastic drive from him.
Yeah, agreed. 100%. A really, really good drive. Really good job from him. Also, good job from Jay, who kept the concentration high, even though he was completely alone all race long. And
yeah, not bad.
Good race from Sparks as well, as he fought up to P4 right at the end. As I am going to invite Louis right now, our race winner. No, I can do that. I can do that. I'm in the profile right now already. So now the viewers can't. Oh yeah, good point that it's a private party. The viewers can't hear you right now anyway. So I just suggested him. All right.
Cool.
It's gonna be an odd interview.
It's going to be weird because you can't just say, what do you think of the next race? Or what do you think of the season?
Yeah.
There was no race, there was no season.
Can just I've got some questions in mind.
I've got none.
I think it was interesting commentating a 100% race. It was, like I said, it really felt like an endurance race. It was really not that easy for us either to keep the entertainment up. Because there was, at some points, it was quite dull, the race. Not much going on, not much action. But we've got 267 comments about the whole course of this stream.
Cheers,
and
lads.
Big C said 2 days left of this awful game. Completely agreed.
I mean, I wouldn't call this game awful. I've enjoyed this game, but only 2 days left, I guess. But I've enjoyed it enough. I don't think it's been truly god tier awful, but F1 2020 I think has promised to be much better than this game, and I'll be very happy if it is better, but you know, F1 2019 hasn't been too bad.
And here we have a race winner. Louis, have you got your mic on share? That's important because I did some interviews and I don't want to repeat interviews.
Yes, I done.
I think Louis actually got me muted from last summer in the pod. Actually, no, I've got him muted. Sorry. Hello.
Alright.
When I was playing guitar.
Alright, we've got people muted in the party. I haven't muted everyone. But first of all, congratulations on your win. And we won't ask you any questions about this race because it's a race of champions. It's all for fun. It's all for pride, maybe, as well. But most important questions, what are you going to spend your money on?
Mega Chungus might have to buy a mega dinner or breakfast, maybe. So we'll have to see what lies ahead.
Okay, food involved. That's always good.
Maybe.
And now that the game is like over with the Race of Champions F1 2019, was it a game you enjoyed? Did you enjoy it, or are you just happy to throw it out the window, delete it from your PlayStation, and never see it again?
I mean, I've got the PSGL event tomorrow, but I still have other races in other leagues. This game's been quite good for me, although I've been using the line quite a lot of the time. even the pace of how it's been there or thereabouts for the top guys. So hopefully it can continue into the next game.
So it seems like many people enjoyed it. I definitely didn't. But is there any favorite moment you had in your PSGL career of this game, let's say, or do you think that will still come tomorrow?
Well, obviously the 2 titles I won in season 23 and 24 were quite special. And also getting a chance to battle like the esports drivers like Jarno, Casper, Danny, that's been quite a good moment as well, knowing that I have the pace with them even though I'm on the controller. That's been probably my top moments.
So it sounds like you've had a great time on this game, and now we know you're probably going to spend your money on food. That's good to know. We all have
Maybe.
clarification of that. Jack, any more questions to add? Because I really don't want to ask about the race. Like I said, it's all for fun.
Okay.
High
So
damage.
I know a lot of drivers are converting over to wheel or something in the next game or next couple of games. Do you think you're doing that at any point to try and maybe challenge for the esports or something? Try get into Pro Draft or something like that?
No.
Interesting. Fair enough.
I'll stick my trusty pad, I think.
I mean,
It's
he's
worked
pretty,
so far, so don't change it.
pretty godly on the pad, to be fair. I'm jealous of your pace.
Have you got something like a lucky pad? Have you got like one special pad that you're always using, or are you just switching between your different pads?
Oh yeah, rub it 3 times and like yeah, it works. Very well. But yeah, I only use the camo pad. Like if I use my red one, it just feels so weird. And then I had a black one as well, and if I use that, I'll just spin every corner, or the turning would feel so crap. So yeah, just use the camo one.
See, everyone's got their their little secret things. But now that it's been leaked, be aware of your controllers. Hopefully they're not stolen away from you. Maybe some of your F1 rivals will break into your house at night and just take your championship hopes away from you. But
Under bed.
now the hiding spot is leaked as well.
In the garden.
All right, so yeah, have fun with your prize money. Have fun with your food, and good luck for tomorrow. For is it your final race, or do you have any more races after that to come?
I've still got a couple more in other leagues, but the last PSGL race for me is tomorrow in the event.
All right, so hopefully you will end it in such a good way as you did in the Race of Champions today. And yeah, I hope we all gonna enjoy F1 2020, and I hope no one's gonna steal your lucky controller.
Thank you.
All right, Jack, that's it for PSGL Race of Champions, PSGL season, or PSGL F1 game season, more or less, is nearly over. We've got a few races left. We've got the FP Challenge Cup. We've got tomorrow another race, and yeah, then it's over. And then, like Big C said, then we're done with this awful game. Anything else to add on it?
I mean, I'd just like to thank PSGL for allowing me to commentate with this. I mean, I only commentated about 5 races before this with you, of course, and then suddenly got invited onto one of the biggest events of this year. So I'd like to thank Big C for choosing me and you, and I'd like to thank you for being my commentating partner, bringing me along to PSGL in the first place. So thank you, Felix, thank you, PSGL, thank you, Big C, thank you, everyone. This has been enjoyable. It was a good race to watch. First ever 100%. It's really good. I've never actually raced in Race of Champions myself because I'm not good enough. So yeah, anyway, just thank yous all around, really.
Maybe that will come with the next game. But yeah, I would like to say thank you to all the admins of PSGL as well, to making that possible, to have so many good and competitive leagues every single season on every single game. They've done an incredible job, and also Big C for giving me the opportunity to first of all commentating. Also thank you to Jared for putting me into commentary with him in FP for the first time, and then yeah, Big C for inviting us to this very, very special event today. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. I think I did like F1 2019 in terms of commentating, because that's what I did the the most, I think, even on this game. I think I commentated more than I raced, actually, at least towards the end. But it was a lot of fun commentating with you as well, Jack. So thank you for joining, and to everyone who's still watching, thank you for tuning into the stream. Make sure to check out those last few events in PSGL on this game, which are coming up within the next two races, within the next 2 days. Not races, days. And yeah, thanks for the activity in the chat as well. Not letting the race be boring. Always active in the chat. Was great to see. And yeah, with that being said, thanks for watching. Tune in tomorrow and on Tuesday for the final few races in PSGL. And until then, goodbye and take care.